So now we have a problem. We have a concentration of evil out there, and we have a concentration of good, and guess what? Amalek will therefore become the arch enemy of the Jews. Just like we have our Torah that tells us what to do, they have their own Torah. What's their Torah? The Torah is to oppose our Torah. It's to go against everything that we are for. It's evil. Remember, it's evil concentrated. It doesn't therefore tolerate, doesn't feel comfortable in the presence of good. Real evil cannot take it when there is a presence of good. That's just the nature of evil. Real evil, concentrated evil. People, remember, are mixtures of everything. But the real evil will not tolerate the Torah, the philosophy, the teachings of good, of being humane, of being nice, compassionate. You say, why not? No, there is an element out there in the world that will not tolerate it, and that's called Amalek. The ultimate good is that which brings about the fulfillment of God's will in this world, that which brings us closer to our mission. And therefore evil, or kohot hara, is anything that detracts from our mission, anything that moves us away, or anything that is opposed to doing the will of Hashem. That's in a very simple way of explaining it. You basically have two opposites, complete opposite. One that wants to fulfill the mission, the will of God in this world, and one that does not. He obviously does not believe in God, and anything that has anything to do with God, he will oppose. The words asher karecha, even though literally it means that he came across you, he made up with you, it also means, the commentators explain, a form of krirut. He cooled you off. Amalek has the danger of cooling off a Jew from his emunah, pouring cold water on us, to be cooled off from the emunah. Asher karacha also comes from the word mikre. Everything is a coincidence. It was just a big bang. That's how the world was created. It was just by accident. Mikre, by chance. It was not divinely inspired. It was not by an act of God or creation. That is the philosophy of Amalek. Not to have anything to do with the teachings of the Torah, that there's a creator, that there's a boss who is involved in this world. His job, therefore, Amalek, is to move anybody who's attached to divinity or to doing acts of goodness, to move him away from that. And obviously the Jew is the greatest representative of acts of goodness that there is. In other words, the whole Torah, a lot of religions, a lot of laws of countries are taken from the Bible, from the Torah. So he is going to be our greatest enemy, Amalek says. The Jew. He is giving us a hard time. He is the one that's stopping us. He's introducing this thing called conscience and morality and values. And he doesn't want that. So therefore, we are his enemy and he is our arch enemy. He's very dangerous to the Jew, not just to the world, because his approach when it comes to emunah, to faith, is to cast doubt in anything. Amalek's approach, his tactic, is to cast doubt, to ask all kinds of questions and intentionally cast doubt. One way that he does it also is through letzanut, umitlotzetz. He makes a mockery of everything. That's another way he does it. Makes fun. Now the reason I'm emphasizing this is you have to realize something. You may find an individual out there in the street who doesn't appear to be your enemy, per se. He doesn't hate Jews. But he makes fun of Torah. He mocks what the Torah writes. That is a form of Amaleki. That is at least the midah, the characteristic of Amaleki. He doesn't have to be biologically Amaleki to believe what Amalek believes. So therefore, all of that approach, that attitude, that philosophy is dangerous to the Jew because of what it does, to cool us off. Through this mitzvah of mechiyat Amalek, of eliminating Amalek, or erasing his name, Hashem wants us to remember that the best way to love what Hashem loves is to hate what Hashem hates. If you hate what Hashem hates, you will come to love what Hashem loves. That's the way the system works. In order to truly love what Hashem loves, you have to hate what He truly hates. And Hashem hates Amalek.
Don't take any credit or any celebration whatsoever if you see your enemy fall, unless he's an enemy of the Torah. Unless he's an enemy of the Torah, then he's an enemy of Hashem. Then it's a mitzvah to celebrate.
You have to learn the 7 law of Noah. You can Google it. You have it all over this website who explained it.
No hide.
You have to be a good person.
Right.
You cannot hate anybody because of race, especially not the Jewish people, because they are the chosen people of God. He loves them very much. Hating them is considering hating God Himself, because He's their father. You cannot go against the son of a person and telling the person, I love you. I love you, I have to respect your son. Even if the son is not the greatest son. It's not even the issue here right now.
In the book of Exodus and also in the book of Deuteronomy, we speak about the mitzvah to destroy and to annihilate the nation of Amalek. Says the Rambam in Mitzvah 188 and also 189 and also in Negative Commandment 59 that there's a mitzvah and a command to wipe out from among all the descendants of Esav, the descendants of Amalek, male and female, young and old. And the Sifri goes on to say, how do we do this today? We remember, which means to remember it verbally, and do not forget it means not to forget it in one's heart. And he says the root of this commandment is to implant into our hearts that any enemy that oppresses the Jewish people are considered to be an enemy against God. God tells us we should erase their memory and we should eradicate them from the face of the earth. The word Amalek is the gematria of Safek. If you add up the letters of Amalek, Ayin, Mem, Lamed, Kuf, it equals 240. The number 240 is the same number as the word Safek, which means doubt. What is Amalek? Says Hasidus, Amalek represents the concept of doubt. They put a doubt into everything that you want to do. That is why they're so evil. Who is Amalek? Amalek comes from Esav. Esav was a brother to Jacob. So therefore, when Jacob, the Jewish people, want to follow the Torah, comes along Esav and says, hold on, don't take it so seriously. You know, chill out, cool down. I also know the Torah. Esav, how do you know the Torah? What do you mean? Me and your grandfather Jacob were in the same womb together. For 9 months I was in the womb together with Jacob. And I know the Torah. I was raised in the house of Isaac, and I was raised in the house of Abraham. And I studied the Torah, and I'm knowledgeable of the Torah. I know what your Torah says. It's not that I'm ignoramus, but I can tell you, you don't have to take everything so literally. That is Amalek. And that is why Amalek is so terrible, and it has to be totally uprooted, because that is the beginning of the downfall of the Jewish people and the entire Torah.
So what's needed to defeat Amalek? We said logic doesn't work, common sense does not work. He mocks, he ridicules, he opposes. The way to defeat Amalek, we said, of course, is with the Torah. That's for ourselves, to control ourselves, to have the right outlook. But the way to defeat him, other than physical defeat, is through emunah peshuta, through simple emunah. In other words, not to ask questions, too much questions, not to have any doubts. There are many things we don't understand, many things that we will never know throughout our life. Does that mean we should stop doing what we're doing?